Oh, hello, sir. How are you today? How can we assist you?
I just need one ticket to Walla Walla, Washington, please.
Oh, of course. Hold on. Let me check here. Oh, I'm sorry. It looks like that flight is booked, but I can put you on the waiting list. Let me get that typed in here. And while you're waiting, let me tell you about Ticket Price. It is the only movie podcast that is going to be worth your time and money, and they are on Patreon, sir. Oh, sorry, that waiting list is looking booked as well. Let me put you on the waiting list for the waiting list. This will just take a minute, sir, please. Do you have any identification? Thank you. And so while you're waiting, you can join Ticket Price Podcast on Patreon. Only $3 a month subscription cost, and you can get access to all of their episodes early, as well as bonus content, such as Moments in Horror, as well as many other. Their top 10 lists are on there. That waiting list for the waiting list is not looking good. Do you have a major credit card? Thank you, thank you. Okay, yes, see here. Oh, and why wait till Friday for those episodes when you can get them early thanks to Patreon? That is fantastic. And, I'm sorry, sir. Your card has been declined. I'm going to have to ask you kindly to get the out of our airport. But please do subscribe to Patreon, Ticket Price Podcast, $3 a month. And thank you. Have a great day. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good whenever it is you're tuning in. Welcome to Ticket Price, the only show that asks the hard-hitting question, is this movie worth the ticket price? In other words, is this movie worth your time and hard-earned money? I am Jake, your co-host. With me as always, the Garth to my Wayne. The Gene Wilder to my Mel Brooks. Co-host extraordinaire. And the only man who gets salt confused with sugar. Tevis at Master Control. Tevis, how are you, sir?
Man, it makes your coffee taste like shit.
But your steak gets that little kick.
I am doing fantastic.
The only time you've been compared to Gene Wilder, you're welcome.
Yeah, that's never never been a thing.
Thang.
A thing.
Thang.
What thing are we doing now?
All right, well, we're talking about a movie.
Is that what we do here?
No. For our longtime listeners of the show, no. And everyone knows it.
We more like talk about a wide range of shit, and then a movie is like sprinkled in, kind of like sugar on your steak.
Salt in your coffee.
Just a dash.
It's just whatever movie we're pretending to talk about is really just an excuse for me to get angry about something and then freak out.
Usually James Cameron or Gremlins.
Or both.
Man, I wish James Cameron would redo Gremlins. It would make your head explode.
Well, you know what? He couldn't make me feel any less for the characters of Gremlin. Oh, actually, he might make me hate Rand Peltzer less.
I doubt it.
But he makes the illogical logical. Or some nonsense.
That's exactly right.
Oh, thank you. No, we're not talking about that garbage today. You can't make me go back to Gremlins. We recorded the episode. We did the top 10s. I'm not going back. You can't make me. Can't make me. No, today we will be diving into scary stories to tell in the dark. I joked in last week's episode, horror light. It's kind of like that Goosebumps style of horror, where it's good. I feel like it's genuine horror, but for the younger audience. It's that the training wheels of horror almost.
The training wheels of horror. I like that. Yeah.
Get them started.
Definitely the Goosebumps vibe.
Yeah. Well, you're not just gonna just throw them into
It.
Friday
the 13th. Halloween.
Yeah. You're not gonna throw them into the heavy stuff. No, when my girls are older, like 10-ish, we'll probably watch Jaws.
Yeah, I've watched it with the kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, she loves
that's
it.
all right.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't think it's over the top.
No, not at all.
What are we talking about?
Scary stories
Scary stories.
to tell in the dark.
Where do I tell them?
In the dark.
Oh, see, that's where I screwed up.
Yeah.
All right.
It works better in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of things work better in the dark.
All right. Scary stories to tell in the dark. Tell in the bark. Bark dark. Dark bark mark tark.
No rhyming this
I'm
episode.
having a stroke. Oh no, I believe I'm having stonk. All right.
Oh shit.
Scary stories tell in the dark. Made in 2019. Written by Dan Hageman, Kevin Hageman, and Guillermo del Toro.
I love me some Guillermo del Toro.
He's a little hit or miss for me.
Really?
A little bit.
Okay.
I'm not like generally I enjoy Guillermo del Toro, but I'm not gonna say across the board I love everything he does. Ooh, this motherfucker.
Huh, I think I know exactly who you're gonna say.
Directed by Andre Avradal.
There it is.
Let me hold on. Flip through my. Oh, I flip right. Goddamn, I couldn't do that again. Now, if you think, or if you're thinking to yourself, that name sounds familiar. We've done an Andre Avradal movie before. If you're new to the show and you don't know what we're talking about, buckle up!
So what was the movie?
In 2019, he did Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. In 2023, he did The Last Voyage of the Demeter. And that movie is a flaming bag of feces.
Ooh.
See what I did there?
Yes. Yes.
Because this the movie we're currently talking about features a flaming. Actually, it's not dog feces. That's very much people feces.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yes, it is.
We might get there. I don't know. So, Andre, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I like Andre Avradal.
I have only watched one other movie by him. It was The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
I've heard that name, but I haven't seen it.
It was actually a really interesting watch. I did enjoy it, but I only watched it the one time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got Brian Cox in it.
I do like Brian Cox.
That was a plus. But
he's fantastic.
Yeah, it was interesting. I would watch that again. But I would not watch Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Oh
again.
no, I will never, ever watch that garbage again.
No.
Back to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, starring a bunch of kids. Now, moving on to rating. I wrote starring bunch of kids.
And that is correct. It's got Dean Norris in it, though.
I don't know who that is.
He was, what was her name? The main girl. It's her, Stella.
Stella.
It's, that's Stella's dad.
Okay.
He was in Breaking Bad.
Didn't see it.
He was in Total Recall.
Gross.
Great movie.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
It's worth the ticket price.
No, it isn't.
It is 100%.
No, it's not. Things that are not worth the ticket price. Total Recall. 3 boobed hookers.
Those are definitely worth the ticket
no,
price.
they're not.
Quado. Oh, yeah.
Shut up.
Quado.
Shut
Little baby hanging out of that man's belly.
up. Total Recall sucks.
Take my hand.
I'm don't
Wait.
Shut up.
Open your mind. Open your mind.
I'll bend over and open my cheeks and show you something just as good as Total Recall. All right. Ratings. IMDb 6.2.
Oh. Okay. That's
Rotten Tomatoes 77%.
I would go with that one. The 60 one's a little low, I
That
think.
does seem low.
Yeah, a little bit low.
They probably were like, Andre Avradal. That guy's gonna go on to make a real shit movie about Dracula later. That Last Voyage of the Demeter is so bad. People,
It's affected his other
it
works.
it's so bad it has broken the time stream. And people in the past were like would get the shudder. And they were like, "Ugh, oh, I think this guy's gonna make a real bad movie. Ugh, I don't like this director." And everyone's like, "He hasn't directed anything. Just wait, motherfucker." All right, budget of an estimated $25 million.
Okay. I can kind of see, because I mean, they didn't spend it on the cast.
No, but to be fair though, they did get a good cast
No, the cast is good. I like the cast.
and a worldwide gross of $104.5 million. I call that a success.
Yeah, not
Call
bad
that
turnaround.
call that a success. With 5 award wins and additional 6 nominations. Nothing really like crazy to jump out. Just yep.
No Saturn Awards?
Shit, did this happen? I can't remember. You know what? The Saturn people have yet to have a sassy comment for me, so up yours, Saturn.
So, Saturn, my dick.
Hey, Saturn, my dick. And we're talking about penises again. And welcome to Penis Talk. All right, reviews. Ebert.com.
Fucking Ebert.
Yeah, but
.com.
.com. 3 stars. Scary Stories is a strangely uplifting throwback to the old-fashioned plans of investigative teens, which I feel like is wrong. Especially given what happens throughout this movie.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that.
Okay, am I the only one who it's like it's a throwback to clans? Clans.
Yeah,
First of all,
I don't like that word.
Clans. Like we're in the Scottish Highlands again. Or, the South.
Alabama.
I wasn't going to go specific. And you were just like, goddamn Bamas.
Shit.
We're just burning bridges.
Yep.
Oh. Speaking of burning. Oh. Why would you go there?
Oh.
What's the matter with you? You're clearly a deeply disturbed individual. I'm normal. But no, I think when I think of like the way they word that, it makes me think of like Scooby Doo, Nancy Drew, the fucking. Isn't there like like brothers or sisters? There's like
Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys, yeah, like that kind of stuff is what I think of when I hear clans of investigative teens.
I mean, I guess there was a little bit of an investigation part in this. It didn't really come across to me as that type of movie, but
at no point did anyone improvise a ridiculous Rube Goldberg-esque trap to catch the monster.
Yeah, and they didn't like run from one doorway to the other doorway and then come out a whole nother doorway into another doorway.
See, it starts with the monster chasing them and they go through a door. Then they come out a completely unattached door and they're chasing the monster. Yeah. Then they come out a third unattached door and the monster is pushing them in a wheelbarrow. I love that joke.
Yeah, there was none of that.
I love that joke, by the way. I don't care who does it. That joke never gets old for me. I love that. All right. IGN. I believe this is a first for IGN to be on the show. So welcome, IGN. We'll see if we agree with you or not.
I'm going to just say no.
If you want a throwback family flick with some genuine scares and original vision, then you'll be pleasantly surprised by this very enjoyable offering.
Okay. Good job, IGN.
Oh, so wait.
Welcome to the show.
Are you backtracking?
No, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm
agreed with them from the start.
Yeah, I'm welcoming them to the show.
Good job.
God. That was a lot of hard words.
I feel like you've hurt yourself.
Oh.
Want to suck face?
Well, actually, that one monster kind of did. We'll talk about it. There was a weird hug.
Oh yeah, the pale lady.
Multiple people die in this movie. We'll talk about it. And I don't totally understand how they all died.
Yeah, they had some weird. We'll get there. We'll get there.
All right.
Okay.
What is your history with this movie?
I'd seen it once previous to showing my daughter the movie. I think I rented it at the Red Box. Another Red Box,
Not the Casey's.
not the Casey's. Another Red Box.
Is Redbox still a thing?
I don't think so.
Like, there's enough just streaming availability of stuff now. Like, Redbox isn't really a thing, is it?
I haven't seen one forever,
Yeah.
but who knows? There might be one random one still hanging on, like that one Blockbuster in Alaska.
It'll never die.
But my kid is very much into the horror thing, so I was like, okay, let's see, maybe some movies that I could show her that are not too over the top. And I picked this one for her to watch, knowing I had seen it before. She absolutely loved it, so I get to watch it probably twice a month. You know,
Well, I don't know if that's gonna improve or jade your opinion of this movie. I'm not gonna lie.
it's usually playing in the background while I'm doing dishes or something. So, but no, she loves it, so I'll let her watch it. It's good. It's good. What is your history with this film?
I've never seen this movie until now, but this movie is based on the books by Alvin Schwartz and illustrated by Stephen Gamble. I'd like to get into this for a minute. You've seen the books. You've checked them
Yes.
out. So you're gonna know what I'm talking about. I have several very distinct memories as growing up, going to my grandma's house. And on the bookshelf for the grandkids to check out, I believe it to be the first one because there's 3 of
Yes.
these short story horror anthologies, correct? There's 3 of them.
That I know of, yes.
So I think it's the first one. And I'm not a horror person. I'm out. And I can just remember as a kid, like, I'd go to see grandma, and I feel like more often than not, this thing would just be out haunting me. Because it'd be like on the coffee table, or like it'd be sitting on the bookshelf, but like not spine out, cover out for some horrible reason. And the artwork of this book, just everything about it, I was like, nope. I'm out. I can't. Not it. Nope. Fuck you. Absolutely not. Then as time went on, and this book was still there taunting me, and I would like try to flip through it, and then I saw the horror of the pictures in the book. I was like, nope, fuck this. I'm out even more. I'm out. This artwork freaks me out and I don't like it. I'm done. And I put it down. And then more time passed. I was like, fuck this book. I'm just going to read this fucking book. I'm going to beat this book. Opened it. I started reading one of the stories. I don't remember which story. I'm just reading this story. I'm reading it. And I'm like, okay. The story, not that bad, like scary wise. But what got me are these over the top, visceral images. These illustrations are fucking horrifying.
Yeah, they are.
I can still picture the cover of this book where it's like a farmyard, but the land morphs into this giant bulbous ghoul head with like a fucking corncob pipe and shit. I'm like, what is that? If you know, you know. Am I wrong? That's the cover. It's burned into my mind. It just freaks me out at night. So I'm like, oh shit. Now it's like I gotta fucking dive back into like old repressed childhood trauma. Awesome. Awesome. I'm looking forward to it.
Did you recognize any of the stories in the movie from anything that you'd read?
Honestly, I couldn't. I have no memory of what story I read. Like the
Oh,
story
gotcha.
didn't stick with me. I do believe specifically the picture of the scarecrow,
Oh, Harold?
Harold. Might have been Tommy though. I'm not sure which.
Tommy was the kid.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah.
We're not there yet,
Yeah.
but I'm giving you that knowing look of like, yeah, you know, yeah, you know. But I distinctly remember a horrifying picture of a scarecrow in the book. So I'm assuming that's that. But I don't really know. The book freaked me out, man. I don't like it.
Okay.
It gets me all sweaty and tense. And everyone's like, why are you so sweaty? I'm like, why are you talking to me? Don't talk to me. Damn it. So my history with this movie, nil. My history with the books it's based on scarred me as a lad. So we are diving into some just real, just repressed shit.
So therapy after this.
During. I'll have to call Diane. Hold on. I have her on speed dial. Hold on. Do kids know what speed dial is? How old am I?
No, that's old as shit.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Fuck you, man. Guess who's no longer on speed dial? Tevis. All right. Getting into it. Movie opens. Season of the Witch sucks.
Yeah.
We're in Mill Valley.
Mill Valley. Yes.
Mill-
Not Hill Valley.
Mill
Valley.
Valley. And it's Halloween, and everyone's gearing up for Halloween shenanigans, and the song Season of the Witch is playing. And I couldn't tell you what was going on other than kids getting ready for Halloween because Season of the Witch is playing. And Season of the Witch is fucking awful. What a terrible song. That song blows. I just hate that song.
The thing I got from the beginning of the movie was Tommy coming out of the recruiter's office.
He's gonna go shoot some camis
And he's all excited
to fight Nam.
to go to Nam and fight in the war. So he's kind of messed up.
Okay. We gotta touch on it later, but we're there, so I'm just gonna we'll touch on it now because it comes up multiple times throughout the movie. I feel like this movie has a really weird political anti-war undertone to it, and I don't know why. It seems unnecessary, and it's somewhat jarring when it comes up. Like, does Andre Avradal or the Hagman brothers or Guillermo del Toro, do they hate Nixon? And the war in Nam from the 60s? Like, what is this?
Yeah, there's multiple moments like where they talk about Ramon being a draft dodger.
Yeah. One of our main characters is a draft dodger. Tommy's all gung-ho about fighting commies. Nixon shows up repeat, like either on the news or newspapers or whatever.
Yeah, he's on the TV a couple of times.
Lulu's daughter's like Tricky Dicky. That's no name for a president. And I'm like, what is? And then even over the course of the movie, the presidential votes are being counted, and we see news footage of the presidential election being counted from. And I'm like, why? What is this serving? It's just this weird. I get that. I guess it's it was happening in the time period the movie is set in, but like, who gives a shit?
And doesn't Ramon even like join?
Yeah, he ends
later
up
at the end.
Yeah, he ends up,
Yeah, I don't understand it. It's just kind of there.
It's real forced.
Yeah.
real forced, and I don't know
Yeah.
why.
I mean, I get Tommy joining and being all excited. Kind of shows the type of person he is.
Yeah, but we also get that later.
Yeah. And then I also get Ramon dodging and being ashamed about it, because even the police officer, who is a little bit racist,
There's a lot of that.
yeah. Oh yeah. But that officer looks down upon him for other reasons, but even more so about being the draft dodger.
Yeah.
So I feel like those two could have stayed, but I don't know. I don't think we needed the whole Nixon shit.
But why does Ramon need to be a draft dodger? Why? What does that matter to this story? You and I could sit here and come up with legitimately a million different reasons why the character of Ramon Morales rolls into Mill Valley that has nothing to do with dodging the draft.
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point.
Like, this is so forced and unnecessary. It's just this weird underlying current throughout the movie.
And maybe you're right. It does have to do with the time that it's set in. That was like all the talk at that time.
Which again, I get. But
So that's the writers are like, we'll just do it with the draft and Nixon, and that way people are aware of what time period this takes place in.
better ways to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
Because what do you and I talk about all the time? If it doesn't serve your plot, get rid of it. Not only does all this weird anti-nom stuff not serve the plot, it's distracting.
I'd agree. Yeah.
Like if you're a kid who doesn't really know, and you're so it's just like this weird thing and you don't really pay attention to it, but like other than that, if your mom and dad, right, watching it, and you're just going, why? That was weird. Like you've now shoehorned this element into your movie that takes people out of it because it's so weird and unnecessary.
I agree.
No, Season of the Witch sucks. Oh, okay, can we talk about the racism for a moment?
Sure. I love talking about racism.
Yes, you bingo. Tevis gets racial. So Ramon is Mexican or Hispanic.
No fucking way.
So I know, right?
I don't see color.
Good for you.
Thanks. I'm colorblind.
I hate that joke. Can everyone get your I hate that joke t-shirts out and boo this man? Boo this man! We're making sure someone gets bingo tonight. But no, so okay. They throw a particular derogatory term around a few times in this movie. It's wetback.
Yes, they do.
So I said it. We know what we're talking about. They like graffiti his car with it. He's called it multiple times by different characters. It kind of also seems like Ramon is, born in the United States, and that particular phrase in its actual origin is incorrect. It's
What?
right, and I'm not going to explain that anymore, and I'm not going to explain the origins of that particular phrase. At one point, one of the friends in the group, Charlie,
Oh, the
is like, "Hey, you got Switchblade?" Like, because he's this Mexican kid, and he's like, Ramon kind of ignores him, and then Charlie's like, "Can I see it?" And then Ramon's like, "Who said I have a Switchblade? Like, why do I just have a Switchblade?" Right? And then the kids are like, "He totally got Switchblade. This dude totally got Switchblade." Right? And so it's like they're building up like yes, these are racial stereotypes, and yes, there is this term being bandied about and all this stuff. But here's where it gets weird for me. I feel like other movies do it too. So now I'm like, is there just something I don't get with this? Am I wrong? And I accept that I am. If there's something I'm just not getting. So we have a Hispanic character who people are assuming these stereotypical things about and calling him names and whatever. But then later in the movie, he does in fact pull a switchblade. And I'm like, wait, why are we supporting racial stereotypes? And then there's a padlock, and they're like, oh, how do we get in? And he's like, you got a pen? And he knows how to pick a lock, furthering these racial stereotypes. And I'm like, pick a lane, guys. Either you're trying to be anti-racist, and make fun of it and show how ridiculous it is, a la like Mel Brooks in Blazing Saddles, or you're saying that's what you're doing, but you're steering into the other lane of like, no, these racial stereotypes are true. And I found this very weird and off-putting. But I feel like other movies we've talked about have done this too, where they're like, we're going to bring up the racial inequality and these stereotypes, and we're going to show that they're wrong, but then they just end up showing that they're right? What am I missing?
It's the swerve.
The swerve
The
that
swerve.
racial stereotypes are correct?
Like, no, they're not correct. No, they're not. That's ignorant thinking. I can't believe you would think that way. Got you, bitch. And then it comes back around to
just kidding.
Just kidding. JK.
Racism is bad, and we should avoid it and let it die because it's this horrible, awful thing. And you thought we were serious. Look at all this racial stuff. Like, it's just, but like, it's weird. Like, I guess
I'm not real familiar with the racial stereotypes.
I don't believe that comment at all about anything coming from you. And neither does anyone listening.
I don't look at life that way.
What way?
Racial.
Oh, okay. I don't know how this really just unfair, mean joke that you're quasi-racist came about. But I do feel like the need to point out that this is just real bad humor and that Tevis is not actually racist.
No, I'm not. I am not. Just to my rice.
That's you know what? That made it worse. And worse. And he does have a switchblade.
I swerved.
He does know how to pick a lock. But like, what?
I don't know. I guess I didn't really catch it that way.
Like, how could you not catch it?
I don't know. I didn't see it that way.
Hey, you're Mexican, right? You got a switchblade? Can I see it? No, I don't have a switchblade. We talking racist? 3 scenes later, got my switchblade. So they were right with their racist assumptions? Oh, what do we do? Oh, don't worry. The Mexican kid knows how to pick a lock? Right? Like that just...
Why is everything race with you?
Why is everything racial? And why is it always for some reason pro-racial stereotypes?
I don't have an answer for that. Honestly.
Anyone could have picked that lock. Anyone could have just avoided picking the lock and smashed the padlock with a hammer they found nearby, right? The switchblade, which plays no part in the plot of the movie, could have never come up. Ramon could have never owned a switchblade.
I'm going to put this on Guillermo del Toro.
You're saying a Hispanic man is pro-Hispanic stereotypes?
Yes.
That seems like a bold claim that I'm not comfortable enough with it to stand by it.
I don't know. I'm just saying that was the writers.
He might pull his switchblade on me.
I can't lock my doors.
He'll pick them.
He'll pick them and come in. No, I'm just throwing it at the feet of the writers,
Yeah,
but that's all I got.
it's odd.
I agree, a little bit odd.
So we have a bad song, weird, outdated political views on an issue that has been that happened 60 years ago, and we are perpetuating racial stereotypes on Spanish Americans, Hispanic Americans, Mexican Americans, any kind, literally broad spectrum Latin Americans.
We are off to a great start.
This movie is off to a great start. So, we've got Stella and her two friends, Charlie or Chuck or Chucky, and August. They're a band of misfits.
I like them. All three of them.
They're portrayed well and acted well.
They are.
Whatever clown. I'm not a clown. I'm Perot. I'm a Perot. I thought you were going to be Spider-Man, not a Spider-Man.
I love it. He goes into the kitchen. Mom, I said Spider-Man, not Spider-Man.
Just be thankful the Lord provides.
This was after he took the little fish net
to scoop his own turds out of the toilet.
Yes.
He fished for his own poop.
He did.
I only do
Or
that.
what was it his?
It was his.
I'm just hoping he didn't like run in there after his sister got done and she's not a flusher.
What? What is the matter with you? What are you even talking about? What?
But we know it's his. It's his.
What? Wait. So the Mexican kid has a switchblade, knows how to pick locks because we're pro stereotyping, and now Chucky, good Sir Charles, is some kind of weirdo who stalks the family bathroom for his sister to leave so he can just commando roll his way in with a fishnet and scoop his sister's dump out because his sister isn't a flusher? What are we talking about? Roll credits. I'm done. I'm done with this episode. Nope. Where's the hat? I'm drawing the next movie. I'm done. I'm out. I'm out already.
Oh man. I said I'm hoping he didn't do that. I'm hoping it was his own.
Why? No one thought that happened. No one believed that might have been the case. He pooped. He fished it out with the fishnet, put it in a bag so he could use it for pranks later. No one thought he was just skulking outside the bathroom for the first relative who had to take a dump left.
Okay, well, answer me this.
Riddle me this,
If he
dump
was
man.
the one pooping, why was the door left open?
Because he pooped, ran out and got the okay, he's taking a dump.
We're spending way too much time on the poop.
He's mid dump, goes, I have a great idea. So he poops, doesn't flush. Presumably he wipes, he's not an animal. Runs and gets the fish scoop, definitely gonna have to throw that away. Because if you put it in your fish tank, those fish are definitely gonna die. Scoops his poop out, puts it in a paper bag, and I guess he was just hoping to God no one else needed the bathroom in the minute and a half it took to do that.
And then he put the bag on the kitchen counter.
Yes. And it was soaking through.
Yes, it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
The power of Pine Sol. Bam!
And we'd like to thank our sponsor, Pine Sol.
Honey, do yourself a favor and choose the power of Pine Sol, the smell of clean.
For that fresh, clean scent.
Nothing will clean poop off of your counter better than Pine Sol.
Pine Sol. Thank you, Pine Sol lady. There's a throwback reference, like the old Pine Sol commercials.
Oh, okay. So now we've learned a lot.
Have we?
We have.
Yeah, we've learned we're idiots, but everyone already knew that.
We relearned a lot.
We've really just retreaded old ground here,
Yes,
haven't we?
yes, we have.
All right. So the Misfits get together because they've got eggs, they've got toilet paper, they've got Chucky's dump, and they are going to get back at resident jock and bully Tommy. So Tommy's driving by, and they're holding out and the Misfits are holding out a bag of candy because they know Tommy and his friends are going to drive by and snatch it. What was the bag full of?
Well, it was presumably something extremely gross. So
And smelly.
probably, yeah. So probably DVD copies of Last Voyage of the Demeter.
That movie is so bad it broke the time stream and is now used as a prop in a movie that came out 4 years before it did.
Absolutely.
You're not wrong. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just explaining what happened. I want to make very clear I'm not disagreeing.
No, I don't know because they opened the bag and he's like, "Oh my god, gross" or whatever, and so I'm not 100% sure what was in the bag.
Now, so the car slams on its brakes. They start to egg it and throw toilet paper at it. Now, obviously, the car of jock bullies are not happy, but the Misfits are not great at the prank pulling. It's not that they failed to pull off the prank, it's that they forgot the cardinal rule, which is to run before you are identified as the prank puller. Also, it's goddamn Halloween. Everyone is in costume. How in the shit do you get identified immediately as the prank puller? You're either A, didn't plan your costumes in accordance with pulling the prank, which would involve some sort of mask. And or B, you're not good at the prank pulling because you don't know when to cut and run.
I'm going to go with not good at the prank pulling.
Oh no, this wasn't a choice. I believe it's both.
Oh, okay. You think it's both?
I think it's both.
I'm going to go with the not good. That's where I'm at.
No one asked you to make a choice.
But I went ahead and made one.
Okay, thank you. Then, so the car reverses, and this is where I dislike Charles. Oh, Charlie boy. As he lights the brown paper bag of his own poop on fire and throws it perfectly, by the way, through the window, the passenger window of a moving car, past the passenger, who happens to be his sister, into the lap of Tommy the bully. Okay? And as he does so, he yells, "Eat turds, shit birds." And I went, oh, he's one of those rhyming people. Can't like him now.
That's why you don't like him?
Yeah.
Because he rhymes?
Yeah.
I didn't have a problem with the rhyme.
If you feel the need to just rhyme in everyday speech, don't bother talking to me, thanks.
Okay, that's good.
We have nothing to talk about.
It's good to know.
Yeah. See, I'm getting all this set up when we eventually meet our 6 fans at a con, you see. Or some sort of gathering,
Yeah.
right? Because we're going to be invited to all of them.
And you're afraid we're going to have like a mass group of rhymers?
Among other things, yeah. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad to meet you. This can't be true. I'm like, I'm going to stop you right there, Chief.
Just go ahead and pump your brakes.
Go, wait, why do I have a lisp?
Don't know.
Why are you doing my voice with a lisp? Do I lisp?
I didn't mean to. I don't know why
Okay.
it just happened.
Do I lisp?
No,
Okay.
I don't think.
Do I lisp? But no, if you're a rhymer, just say hi. We'll fist bump. Move on.
That's good to know. So on with the show.
So bullies give chase, and the misfits. I was like, the weirdos. What are they? The losers.
That's it.
Yeah, but like, that's the trope.
They're the nerds.
Outcasts. The pale kids for all my recess fans out there. I'm not explaining that reference. So you either get it or you don't. But they run to the drive-in. And at the drive-in, they just jump into a random car with open doors. Seems dangerous, but it was the 60s. It was a different
It was
time.
a different time.
And that is the car of switchblade lock-picking Ramon.
Yeah, the kid who dodges drafts. Yes.
Ramon dodges drafts like Neo dodges bullets. Are you saying I'll be able to dodge the war? I'm saying when you're ready, you won't have to.
Plug me in.
I know Kung Fu. God, I hate Keanu Reeves.
Oh, Keanu Reeves is so great. I watched
As a person, not
I
an
watched
acting.
Point Break today.
We're not talking about Point Break.
I want to talk about Point Break.
No, we're not. We're talking about.
Patrick Swayze.
To be fair, I do enjoy talking about Patrick Swayze. We're not talking about Swayze. We're talking about Ramon.
And his luscious hair.
Hey, I'm growing mine out here. Got some lion mane going.
No, not like Swayze.
Just you wait.
You doing the Martin Riggs or the Ellen Ripley?
Mean. It was mean the first time you said it, and it's still mean. Mean.
I'm going for the Ellen Riggs look.
The Martin Ripley to your mind. You're just jealous you don't have hair. You're some
God.
bald asshole over there jealous of me and Swayze and Ripley and Riggs and woo! What are we talking about?
Poor Ramon.
So they get in Ramon's car and they have awkward introductions, some of them racial, which we find out end up also being true.
I
Um,
laughed by Augie when Charles says something kind of racial, and Augie's like, forgive my friend. He didn't get enough oxygen in the womb.
he didn't get enough. What a great line!
I love that.
He didn't get enough oxygen in the womb. Fantastic line.
Yes.
And you know what? Again, I want to point out how much I actually did enjoy this team of characters that make up our four misfit friends.
Clan.
Our clan of investigative teens. No, they're funny. They're acted well. They're written well. It's just I enjoy them.
Yeah, I liked all four of them.
But Tommy and the goons show up, so now it's on.
The kid who portrayed Tommy does a great job of just being like.
You mean discount Stranger Things, Steve?
I kinda, yeah. He's just. When he gets older, he's gonna be rocking a white tank top, undershirt, and beating his wife.
Well, that's ironic because I believe the shirt you described is called a wife beater.
Yes. So the wife beater will be wearing the wife beater
as he beats
his wife.
Man, there's nothing funny about this. No,
he does a great job of portraying that type of character.
Everything about Tommy, and I say this I say this as a positive. The way the character is written, the way he's acted and directed, pulls off every Stephen King antagonistic teenager in all the right ways. You're just like, there's something off with this kid. And then when it finally culminates, you're going, oh, he's a psychopath.
Yeah, there's definitely strong Stephen King vibes.
The group meets up. They watch Night of the Living Dead. And they're like, great movie, da-da-da. And Stella and Ramon have this like love at first sight moment. And then they decide, it's Halloween. We'll go have some fun. You want to see a haunted house?
Yeah, that's what kids would do.
I have been asked that question 3 times in my life. Every single time I responded, not on your fucking life. And I left. I'm out. Haunted houses, Ouija boards. There's a number of things I'm like, no, I'm not touching that. Have a good day.
Okay.
I'm not superstitious, but I am a little stitious.
We just take a moment
For all my Office fans out
and
there.
boo this man.
That was an Office
That was a
reference.
terrible joke. I hate that joke.
There are people listening dying right now, and they're like, Steve Carell.
But no, I think a clan of investigative teens would go investigate.
And I've never been a part of a clan of investigative teens. I've been the one, I'm the one who went, oh, hell to the nah, and I left before I got murdered. I'm not getting milk cartoned.
So you were the smart one. It's just like, nope, I'm not doing this.
No, I'm good.
You all go and
They're like, Jake, we found this book. Get that shit away from me. Not today, Satan.
let's read from it.
I will slap the shit out of you. And I'll slap the shit out of your bag. I don't care. I don't see the need to tempt fate. I have horrible luck. I lit myself on fire in this studio.
That is true.
As soon as I go into a haunted house, it's going to be on. And it's not going to end well for anyone.
I would have went. I ought to go. We ought to go. We ought to go to a haunted house.
I don't want to go to a haunted
We
house.
ought to just tempt fate now.
I legit or otherwise, I don't want to go to a haunted house. You're going to be like, all right, we're going to do a live Halloween
Absolutely.
episode. We're going to walk through the murder factory or whatever, the terror world or whatever the hell they're called. And no, I'm out. I'm not doing it.
There's supposed to be a haunted church up north.
I don't want to go to that
We
either.
ought to go to that.
I don't want to go to that.
We ought to do the pod from there.
Why would we do that?
Because it would be fun.
No, it wouldn't. Why is that fun?
I think it would be fun. In the comments,
Because you're a psychopath. What is the matter?
let us know. Should we do a
You're
live
gonna be
episode?
like, we're gonna talk
from a
about
haunted
we're gonna
church?
talk about the fucking Exorcist
we can
live from a
do
haunted
the
church.
Blair Witch.
I don't want. Actually, I've never seen Blair Witch. It seems kind of dumb, but regardless, I don't want to do that.
Just shit all over the pod. Just like a flaming bag thrown into a moving car.
That's right.
Back to scary stories to tell in the dark.
Not doing it from a haunted church or any haunted anywhere else. Kiss my ass. Nom
Nom,
nom
nom,
nom
nom,
nom
nom,
nom. Eat my ass. How's that for the bingo cards? Okay, so they're in the haunted house. We learn that this is the Bellows Manor. The Bellows being a prominent family that started the old paper mill that put the town on the map. I wrote this down because they say it a lot. As an author, it bothers me. Sarah hanged herself, except they say Sarah hung herself like 7 times. But hey, I hung up the laundry. If it's an object, it is hung. If it is a person, it is hanged.
Hey, a person can be hung too.
Wieners. We're not talking about wieners.
Yeah, but these are kids talking about it, so I give it a pass.
You're stupid kids. These are supposed to be the smart kids.
Well, yeah, but even the smart kids aren't that smart.
Stupid kids.
Yeah.
Going into a haunted house, using incorrect grammar.
There you go. Yeah, these stupid kids.
That's why Sarah murders everyone. She's like, ugh, hung. I wasn't hung. I was hanged, you illiterates. That's why she murders them with a book. They'll never read it.
They'll never finish it. They won't be able to get past the big words.
Little morons. They're like, she hung herself. Nope. Nope. No, she didn't. And then we discover that Sarah Bellows, I guess, was albino.
Yes, she was.
And so the Bellows family deemed that as a reason to keep her locked in the house dungeon. But we learn that Sarah, in her day, was accused of being a witch. They believed she possessed black magic before she killed herself, and that she was responsible for a number of child deaths in the town.
Poisoning the water.
That she poisoned them. And as the story perpetuated, It's that she used her black magic, and kids would come up to the outside wall of her dungeon cell, and they would say, "Sarah, tell me a story." And that phrasing is very important because it's very much like a Bloody Mary or Sandman, any of those kind of childhood little, stand in the mirror or, stand and look in the mirror and say Bloody Mary 5 times and, she'll come and murder you with an axe and shit like that, right? And so it's this whole, Sarah Bellows, tell me a story. And then she'll tell you a story and it will be the last story you ever hear, kind of a thing. So while they're in the house, they find the dungeon. And they find Sarah Bellows' storybook, which is, as the tall tale goes, written in the blood of children, the children she murdered. At this point, Stella says, "Sarah, read me a story, or tell me a story." Does she not? It's at this moment she says those words and starts all this bullshit.
Yeah, which if she's the one that says it, why does everybody else's story?
They were in the house.
Yeah, but why does everybody else's story start before hers? Because it's almost like she is Sarah Bellows' spirit or body, or
I think they shared a lot of similarities. As far as being an outcast, but having a love of writing and reading and etc. I think there was a connection there, yeah. But you bring up a good point. She said it. She said the words. She started this. Why was she last? Now we know everyone who gets a story was in the house at the time the words were said. When all the shit was
even Tommy.
Right. So in the house is our 4 misfits, Ruth, Charlie's sister, and as we find out, Tommy. And they all get a story because they were in the house when shit kicks off. Plot armor. I don't know. I don't know why Ruth is last. I also don't know why the others. Stella.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stella was last. She started it. I don't know why she's last other than plot armor. I don't.
And honestly, is she even, because her story isn't even said. It's Ramon's was the last one, because remember, Ramon's like, this is my story. He'll chase me.
Right.
Go to the house and confront Sarah. Or tell Sarah the truth, or whatever she says.
I think when it ends, Stella's story was in process, but we've jumped far ahead.
Yeah.
Let's rewind. But so they're in the house, she finds the book, she says the words. They're in the dungeon, this hidden dungeon chamber. Well, now they get locked in. And they get locked in by Tommy, who has a real off-putting expression on his face. He's gone full psychopath.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
You're just looking at him going,
his hair's going to turn white.
That boy ain't right. You just look at him and go, that boy ain't right. But you know what? So, okay, another question. They're in Sarah's dungeon. She plans on killing them all with a story. Why did she let them out? So Tommy locks them in.
Yeah, she does.
Tommy locks them in. He fucks off. The words are said. Sarah's spirit begins drifting around the house, and we see the shadows of her energy or whatever unlock the door. And that's how they get out of the house. She frees them.
But then continues to write stories.
Correct.
I don't know.
Presumably, so we can have a movie, but are we nitpicking? Maybe.
Well, I mean, not really.
I don't know. I'm not that worried about it. Now we're getting into it. And I do want to take a minute to appreciate what they've done here. They made a movie based off an anthology of short stories. How do you turn that into a single movie? And what they've done is they figured out a way to have a single narrative experience composed of different short stories like the books are.
Yeah,
and that was very cleverly done.
Yeah, I agree. When I first knew that this movie existed, I thought it was just going to be little snippets.
like Creep Show,
Creep Show.
or Tales from the Crypt, or
Twilight Zone. Yeah, the Twilight
Twilight
Zone was
Zone.
similar to that.
Yeah.
So I was anticipating just 10, 15-minute little snippets of little scary stories.
Yeah.
But the fact that they wove it together,
it was cool.
into a complete story was cool. I like that a lot. And I like that Sarah had this book that she would write the stories. I thought that was really cool as well.
Yeah, so it's almost like her book, Sarah Bellows' book, is all 3 scary stories to tell in the dark.
Yes.
Like her book is the actual manifestation of the books the movie is based on. And so it's neat. Now the shit starts. Tommy is first. I feel like we could break this down story by story. I guess we don't have to, but it's too late. Too late. We're telling scary stories in the dark. So Tommy lives on a farm. Also, I like how Tommy gets home and his mom is like, Tommy, are you drunk again? It's Halloween, Mom. God damn it, you're supposed to deliver eggs to the Haverfords or, whoever. And he's like, do I have to do it? Like, get your drunk ass over there, get them eggs, fucking whatever. I like loving family. Also very Stephen King-esque. Now, on the farm is an old scarecrow named Harold.
That thing is creepy as shit.
And that is the creepiest fucking thing. And it's like, Tommy has always hated Harold. Yeah, no shit. Look at it. How do you not just fucking burn the whole field down?
It's almost has like Leatherface's face
on it. That's in my notes. Harold is Leatherface levels of scary. We just look at him and go, oh.
Yeah, did they take the face off of their grandpa who just recently deceased
and then just wrapped it around a scarecrow head? Like, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
And it's full of roaches for some reason.
Yeah, they come crawling out and all over the face. Nope.
So Tommy frequently beats Harold with like a bat, or anytime he walks by, he's like, fuck you, Harold, and it's whatever. Which again, I don't blame him. Drunk Tommy goes to get the eggs, and he's cut through the cornfield. And all of a sudden, he can't seem to find his way out of the cornfield. And at first, you might chalk it up to just him being drunk. Don't mind him. He just drunk. Tombstone reference. But, like, he keeps walking. But the thing is, when you watch, you can see his confusion. Like, he's like, no, I turned, and then I should be out. But he never gets out. And he rounds enough corners, and he keeps winding up at Harold again. Until he turns a corner, and Harold's post is there. But Harold is not there.
Yeah, it's at that time that you fucking run. Yeah.
But, and my wife and I got into a debate about this. It wouldn't have mattered. He was not lost in a cornfield because he was drunk. He was trapped in a cornfield he was never going to get out of because of magic. We see it again later. We're going to get there. He's in the cornfield. I am putting the stance down. Does not matter what he does. He's not getting out. Feel free to agree or disagree. We'll get there.
Okay.
So drunk Tommy can't find his way out. So then Harold comes to life and starts chasing him. To which Tommy fucking runs. But you know what? He doesn't make it out of the cornfield. He finds a pitchfork. And he's like, yeah, I guess I'm fighting now. And he takes the pitchfork and he stabs Harold. It's at this point in time that I should really describe what Harold looks like. He is a scarecrow with the most horrifying face. It's like if you took the human skin of Leatherface's mask, but molded it more to look like the Halloween reboot Michael Myers mask. It's some kind of hybrid of the two in my mind. It's horrifying.
I see that.
He's got his scarecrow chest and arms. There is no stomach. There is no midsection. It is just hole that serves as like his back, right? Then the pants full of hay down to his feet. So it's very important. He's feet, legs, nothing, chest and arms, head. Tommy takes the pitchfork and stabs, and the forks harmlessly go into the empty midsection, and the tines go around, like, he skewers it perfectly so that the pole or the stick or whatever that makes up the scarecrow's spine just harmlessly goes in between the tines. He has an entire 6 whatever foot scarecrow, and he hit the only gap like a complete knob.
But would it have mattered?
No.
He should have aimed for the head.
See, he stabs Harold, and Harold does grab the pitchfork and begin pulling him closer, and he lets go. And Harold gets the pitchfork, but he pulls him close, and that's when Harold, you should have aimed for the head. But he takes the pitchfork. Tommy starts to run. Harold catches him, stabs him. So now Tommy is ran through with a pitchfork, which is pretty brutal for a
kid-focused
tween horror movie.
Yeah.
And this is probably one of the most horrifying deaths in the movie.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Tommy finally, after being stabbed, makes it out of the cornfield. The magic let him out. That is my stance.
Okay.
Agree or disagree? That is my stance. The magic has let him escape. He begins stumbling towards the house. He's trying to call for his mom. But dry stalks of hay keep shooting out of his mouth every time he opens it. And then it starts to sprout out of his ears and out of his nose. And his hands, like, out from under his fingernails. Just hay and straw.
And even out of the holes.
And out of the holes that he got, out of his stab holes. And he's trying to call for his mom, but he can't because his voice is choked by the straw. And he begins ripping at his face and ripping it out of his ears. And he's like tearing at himself as he's very gruesomely turned into a scarecrow that is a spitting image of Harold, except it's wearing Tommy's clothes, like his Letterman jacket. And he becomes the new scarecrow in the field. And that is fucking horrifying. Like, his transformation scene is brutal.
It was probably my favorite one of the stories.
Did you catch the significance of the name Harold?
No.
And that Harold was a big fat scarecrow. Harold was the fat brother of Sarah. Sarah Bellows has 2 brothers, Ephraim and Harold. Harold's the fat one who disappeared. Well, they all disappeared, but
Yeah.
Harold's
Really?
the fat one. I don't believe that's coincidence. Not for a second.
Yeah, now I'm going to have to rewatch this.
That's Harold Bellows. Story number 2. Augie. The big toe
This one
is the name of
kind
this story.
of got me.
So, Augie's home alone. His mom and stepdad, I just fucked off to Vegas. I don't really know what they just dipped out. They were gonna go have some alone time without Augie. To be fair, I don't want to be around Augie.
I like Augie.
That parade dressing little douche. And he's like,
you want to be hanging out with a poop flinger?
No, I'm not hanging out with the rhymer either. Still, it seemed okay. Me and Ramon could do racially insensitive things in the back alley of a convenience store, like throw dice and whatever.
Jesus.
I used to be able to throw a mean pair of dice, but that's neither here nor there. Now, I'm like, could left foot. Oh, okay. Well, I'm going to eat this stew. Now, we do not hear the mom's side of the conversation. He's like, well, someone made a stew. I'm going, your mom just told you what stew, or there is no stew, or something involving she doesn't know what stew you're talking about. But there's a giant pot of stew in the house, and you're like, it's fine. This doesn't concern you. He doesn't even know there's supernatural shenanigans going on. You just gonna go for it?
Yeah, because he's the first one of the group
Right.
to go.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, the story that Stella and Ramon are watching the book write, it's called The Big Toe. And it's like August was home alone. They're trying to get Augie on their radio, their little walkie-talkies, and he's like, guys, shut up, it's fine. I don't believe your nonsense. You're just trying to freak me out, ha. As he eats this stew. Now, in the story, we learn that Mom, air quote Mom, in the garden found a plump big toe. She thought that looked delicious, I guess, and she cooked it into a stew.
Thanks, Mom.
And as Augie begins to eat the stew, we see the big toe slowly begin to rise to the surface. And they're like, Augie, there's going to be a voice. Where is my toe? Where is my toe? Where is my toe? And he's like, guys, there's no voice. Shut the fuck up. He takes a bite of stew, and it's got the toe. He bites down. It like crunches.
You got right on the nail.
And then he pulls the blackened, gnarled toe out of his mouth. I legitimately gagged. Like, I was leaned back on the reclining couch, sitting there, like, it acts, and I sit forward because I like full gag. And my wife just looks over and starts laughing at me. And she's like, did you just throw up in your mouth? I was like, I didn't vomit in my mouth, but I definitely get like that legitimately got me. I'm hard to get too. Like if there's a mess in the house, dog crapped in the floor, baby crapped on the floor, there's vomit, whatever. I clean it up. I have a pretty strong stomach. But something about him crunching down and then slowly pulling that black gnarled toe out of it got me. 100% got me.
Yeah, because he doesn't pull it out fast, and he pulls it with his mouth wrapped around it.
Wrapped
And he's
around
like,
it.
like a lollipop, and almost makes a noise at the end.
Yeah, so she got a big laugh out of me just on the couch, just trying not to die. But now, then Augie begins to hear the voice. Now he's scared. Now he's running and trying to hide. He didn't leave the house, though. He goes in his room and hides under his bed. And I'm like, what? Fucking leave.
He's a kid. Dumb kid.
Even as a kid, I understood fucking leave. There are very, very few phrases I did understand as a stupid child, but one of them was fucking leave. But he's essentially a zombie. Like some kind of undead creature comes looking for her missing toe. She begins to hunt Augie throughout the house. He hides under the bed. And he's like, oh God, it's in the room. And he's like scanning and he doesn't see it. He starts to crawl out. He's like, oh, it's going to be on the bed, motherfucker. So he like crawls out and he's like halfway under the bed, half not. He's on his back. He begins to sit up. And at this point, I'm going, is anyone else getting cut in half by an elevator vibe? The way the camera's shot. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't know why I did, but I was like, he's about to get cut in half. And he looks up and there's nothing on the bed. And then he gets pulled back under the bed as he claws at the floor. And it takes him into the wall or some shit. Like,
Yeah, it takes him into the darkness or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, that one legitimately scared me because I was anticipating it coming from some other angle, from somewhere else. I wasn't anticipating it coming from under the bed.
yeah, it was essentially under there with him, I guess.
Yeah. And then the whole dragging of the nails
Yeah.
on the floor. Oh, God, that one.
That little maneuver works every time. The clawing at the ground or the wall or the whatever to stop yourself, and it leaves the scratch marks behind. Or sometimes if the movie goes that far, you'll see like the torn fingernails that are ripped off. You know what I mean? Because that is such an easy visceral reaction to get from your audience of just because we can all imagine the idea of just like that bending and scratching and destroying of your nails, because you know what, that gets sensitive real quick.
Oh, yeah.
And so you're just like, oh.
They blah.
Brr.
That was my buffering sound.
Sounds a lot like your rewinding noise.
I believe it was the 2003 remake of Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
With Arlie Ermy?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a moment in that where Leatherface is taking one of the victims down to the basement, and they're dragging their fingernails
Yeah.
on the wall, and then you can see the fingernails breaking off, and
Yep.
And even at the beginning of it, when the police are going down and they're investigating, they're like, "Oh, we got some scratch marks here, and oh, it looks like a few fingernails." I was like, "Oh, that always gets me every
Yeah.
time."
And I think it gets everyone. It's just like, yep, that'll do it.
Yeah.
And so R.I.P. Augie.
Augie gone.
He gone. Where's Augie? He gone.
Yep, he gone.
So now, though, I guess like he just got dragged into the nightmare abyss and got killed by the zombie or whatever. Like his death, he's just gone. He's just gone.
Yeah,
like
we don't know.
for all intents and purposes, if we're speaking speculatively, for all we know, he is alive in some other dimension or some nightmare world, right?
He's in the upside down.
We didn't actually see him die. He just got taken. So presumably, before he did, in fact, because he's super dead, but before he died, presumably he went to some other world. He was alive somewhere else.
Well, it's even implied too at the end that they're still alive and that they can find them using the book to possibly set up a sequel.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the ending lost me a little bit on that. I'm like, what? So now story 3.
The Pale Lady.
No, the red dot.
Oh shit! I forgot about the red
Quit-
dot.
You keep trying to get to the pale lady.
I
We're not
like
at
the Pale Lady.
So the
I like
red
the Pale
dot,
Lady.
as nonsense continues. Now in the dungeon, Ruth, Charlie's sister, got bit by a spider because she got wrapped up in a spider web and it bit her on the face. And so then the joke was like, it's a pimple. It's not a pimple. It's a spider bite, you little dick. But it keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. And now she's about to go on stage for their production of, what was it, Bye Bye Birdie.
Sure.
And they're like, her like friends, and they're like, hun, you gotta like take care of that thing. It's bad. So she runs to the bathroom and she's trying to like, she almost tries to pop it, but it hurts too bad. And then you see it begin to like something underneath the skin, underneath the inflamed pussy skin begins to move. It's like, what the fuck? And then you just see it looks like a hair sprout out. And she like tries to pull it and doesn't pull, and she like touches it, and then it starts to wriggle. She starts freaking out. I started freaking out. I don't do spiders, all right? I don't do spiders. I don't do a lot of things. Spiders being chiefly among them. Mike, it almost looked like the size of an apple. Just like this spot on her face erupts like the exit wound of a bullet. Just rips her fucking face open, and spiders just pour out from the wound, covering her body, and also begin biting her. Now, the team gets there in time. The team now being Stella, Chuck, and Ramon, because they know what's up. They know it's the book. They see the stories being written. That's how they found Ruth. As the story started to be written into the book, and they're like, "Oh shit, we got to find her."
Yeah, because Chuck got ketchup on his shirt
Or
or
like
something.
jelly, or so the name of this story was The Red Spot, and so they're like, the red spot, and Ramon and Stella just start giving Charlie like the crazy eye. And he's like, "What are you guys looking at me?" And he looks down, there's like the ketchup or jelly or whatever, and so his shirt has this big red spot, and Charlie loses his mind.
But yeah, and then he starts to read the story as it gets written out, and it says she, and he's like, "Wait, am I a woman? Or am I a girl?"
He then has a brief existential crisis, and then it says the name Ruth, and he's like, "Oh shit, my sister!" Right? So they rush and they find her, and so they begin swatting the spiders off of her. And Charlie, quick thinking, runs and gets a mop bucket and throws the water on her to essentially just wash the spiders off.
Yeah.
She's alive, but she's mentally broken. She's just jabbering about get them off, get them off, get them off, get them off. And she's taken to a hospital, and we learn later on that she was transitioned from the hospital to a mental institution where she will remain presumably for the rest of her life. So they saved her life, but not really. Not really. So she's gone. 3 for 3.
Is she though?
She's not Ruth anymore.
No, but she makes it.
Is she though?
Yeah, she was in the back seat of the truck at the end.
Was she?
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to watch that again.
Yeah, she was.
So wait, did they restore her mind?
I don't know, but yeah, she was at the end in the back of the
Or
truck.
do they just have this poor, broken, jabbering woman in the back of a truck
Talking about Kmart.
talking about just like, get him off me, 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 right? That's horrifying. But if they fixed her, how did they fix her?
I don't know.
I prefer to believe she wasn't there because I don't recall seeing her.
She was.
So let's just, if the ending is now this real just ham-fisted attempt at either a sequel or a air quote happy ending, F that.
Yeah, it's not really a happy ending.
If you think everyone's dead and then you find out they're not and you go on a quest to save them, there's hope.
Yeah.
And if there's hope, it's a fairly happy ending.
Yeah, but it's still just kind of there. It's not really. It's kind the whole I believe that they're still alive and the book will help me find them. I'm like, no.
How?
I don't know.
That's for the sequels. That's the sequels
that's
problem.
sequels problem that we probably will never get.
Well, Andre Avradal was too busy directing the last voyage of the Demeter.
Yeah, let's get a new director for the sequel to this.
I don't know if we need a sequel to this. Because it doesn't really make sense to have one, but we'll get there. That was story 3. Story 4, The Red Room.
The Pale Lady?
Would you? Yes. Please tell us the story of the Pale Lady, Tevis. You have been waiting patiently this whole time. Wait, was it called the Pale Lady or was it called the Red Room? It may have been called the Pale Lady.
Well, I don't know about no, it was the Red Room, but it was the Pale Lady. The creature was the Pale Lady.
Right, but I can't remember if the story in the book is the Pale Lady or the Red Room.
It was the Red Room because remember Charlie was like, I can't go to a red room, and he sees on the wall that it's called the Records something department, and it's RED.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, oh my God, the room doesn't have to be red. It's the Red Room. So they are in the middle of their investigation. The clan.
That rambunctious clan of investigative teens. Those rapscallions.
They are investigating about Sarah. Miss Sarah Bellows. So Charlie he refuses to go to the room. So Ramon and Stella, they go and do the investigation. Charlie just wanders off.
Yeah, he's full freak out mode.
Yeah, he goes to the roof at one point, and then there's people up there, and he's not supposed to be there.
But, real talk, because my wife and I talked about this for a second. Those orderlies were very nice, and they were like, "Hey, bud, can we help you?
Yeah, no, they were.
Do you know where you're going? Because like they weren't antagonistic. Then he freaked out and started running, and they gave chase because they're like, he's up to no good. But like at first, if he had just been a little calmer, I think he could have gotten out of there.
Oh, probably. Yeah, because they don't notice him until he walks completely past them.
Yeah,
and one of them is just finally like, dude, what the hell?
Yeah, but he's just like, bud, you all right? Like, he's very kindly about it.
The other two don't give a shit.
If he could have turned around and be like, I think I got off. Well, I obviously got off on the wrong floor. I was looking for the lobby. Like, they'd have helped him. 100% they'd have helped him.
I believe they would have. So, yeah, he takes off running. He gets down into this corridors. The alarm starts to go off. The lights change color to red. And he sees down this long hallway this figure, kind of really can't make out what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of slowly coming towards him.
Very slowly.
Very slow. So he runs to a different corridor, and there's the thing again, slowly coming towards him. And then we get to see what it is. This thing is terrifying. It's this woman. I use that
Loosely.
very loosely.
It's a humanoid.
It's a humanoid, very large, has a dress,
Gown, like a hospital gown,
kind
maybe?
of very,
Kind of
very
thing.
thin, but it almost morphs into her its skin.
Yeah.
And then the face on this thing, the eyes are so far apart. It's got this weird smile almost.
It almost looked like fish or amphibian-like.
Kinda.
And it
Yeah.
had that kind of vibe.
With this very thin, wet,
Long
black hair. And it's just creeping along down the hallway. And no matter what hallway he goes down, it's there coming towards him. Because it gets to a point where he's at like a crossroads.
Yeah.
And he'll turn down and look down one, and there it is. And he'll turn around and he'll go down the other one, and it's there. And he's cornered. And it just comes up slowly shuffling and gives him a big old hug.
It was so dumb. I don't understand what happened. So it catches him in the middle and just wraps her arms around him and just kind of pulls him in, not aggressively even,
No,
just
not even.
pulls him in for like a big hug and then like absorbs him.
Yeah.
And like she just absorbs him into her body. And Chuck's gone.
Yeah, and that was it.
I thought that was stupid.
I liked the design of the creature. I like the idea of it just slowly coming for you, and there's no way you can get away from it. But the hill, for lack of a better word, it was kind of lame.
Real weak.
Yeah, very weak.
Now, if I may remove a pin from something from earlier,
The magic.
the magic.
Okay.
Think about that scene. When the lights turn, he's in a 4-way corridor. He turns one way. He runs. And he winds up at a 4-way corridor. And then he goes a different way. And he winds up at a 4-way corridor. He was in a loop. All roads led back to her. Just like Tommy was. Tommy was in a cornfield loop that kept leading back to Harold. And Charlie was in a loop. That's why I think Tommy was not drunk and lost in his cornfield, and he could have just booked it and made it out. It didn't matter what he did. He was never getting out until it was ready to let him out. Once the lights turned, Charlie was in fucking Silent Hill. Right?
like that.
There's no coming back. He's just there now. It has him. And all roads looped back to that corridor where the pale lady crept towards him.
Okay.
That is my evidence for my argument about it's not all of them, as we learn with the next story, but certain stories, the magic takes you. Like Tommy and Charlie, I believe, for lack of a better word, were killed. They were dead long before we saw the monster get them.
Okay. I like that.
It's almost like they ran into whatever nightmare void Augie got pulled into. You know what I mean? Wherever they were, like Charlie was no longer in that hospital. He was somewhere else. And then I think the pale lady got him. Same with Tommy. He wasn't actually in his cornfield anymore. He
That
was in
makes
some
sense.
nightmare world that looked like his cornfield until it got him.
Okay.
That is my argument for that.
I like that a lot, actually. I do.
Damn, I'm good at this. So, Chuck.
Ripchuck.
Chuck?
Ripchuck. Sounds like a cut of meat.
Yeah, give me your finest Chuck. Then we go to story 5. Oh, actually, it's, if I may. The pale lady closes in. Again, she don't move quick. So like Augie's just standing there, or not Augie, Charlie, Chuck is just standing there. My wife goes, why doesn't he just like spin move past her? I'm just like, yeah, freak her with the okey doke. just be like, bitch. just
This NFL juker. Yeah.
juke her out of her goddamn socks, bitch. That's the day you frog, bitch.
Yeah, do a Barry Sanders. Just
I was gonna say a Terrell Owen. Just just freak her with the okey doke. All right. And then at some point, because they're talking about how like the pale lady that got Charlie was a recurring nightmare he had had since he was a child. And then Sarah Bellows in her book brought that nightmare to life. Same with Harold, Tommy and Harold.
Yeah.
And same with Ramon and his story coming up. And at one point, Stella remarks, we're not reading the book. The book is reading us. And my wife goes, yep, I saw that. I could have wrote that one. And in my notes, I put, in Russia, you do not read books. Books read you. There's a Yakov Smirnoff reference, everyone. Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still performing in Branson, I think.
Come on down to Branson. See
Yeah.
the legendary Yakov.
See the yak off in Branson. Yeah.
I yacked off in Branson once.
It's magical.
Stella and Ramon are arrested
Yeah, by the racist cop.
by the racist cop.
Yeah.
Who finds out that Ramon's a draft dodger, and we get more weird political undertones. But the book begins writing again. And I forget the name of this story because it's literally just nonsense words and syllables strung together.
Yeah, it's whatever that creature
Whatever the
starts
creature
to yell
says.
or talks or whatever.
And I looked it up, and it really is just nonsense. It's not anything.
Oh, okay.
It's not a reference to something. There's no hidden meaning behind it. It's just whatever gobbledygook to give this monster an even more off-putting presence that it just screams garbage at you. The Jingly Man.
So that dog is just staring at the fireplace.
Yes.
And the police officer is like, what in the hell's going on? And that's when that head comes falling out of the fireplace.
Yes.
I legitimately laughed at this. But the head comes alive.
And he says the thing.
He says whatever gobbledygook he says. And the cop is like, are you shitting me? And then pulls out his revolver and fully Martin Riggs' the head. Because he bam, 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 click, 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 click. Like, yep. Full clip.
And appropriate response. That is an appropriate response to that moment.
Yeah, and even his response of just, he's like frozen when this thing's body parts come down the...
And starts stitching back together.
Yeah, and then forms this big thing right in front of him. He's just kind of there looking at it like, I don't know what to do. And it just fucking snaps his neck.
Now that's a corpse someone will find.
That one, yes. I had a problem with a part in this scene. Stella and Ramon are locked in the opposite room
Right. In the holding
in
cells.
the holding cells. The cop is killed in the other room with the dog, and
Yeah.
which does what happens to the dog?
The head comes down and it bolts.
It's like, fuck this, I'm
Yeah,
out.
it's gone.
Okay.
He's done.
But so the creature decides to throw the cop's body into the other room
Yes.
against the holding cells.
Yep.
Why?
I saw it as he didn't throw the cop's body. It was more the force of the neck snapping through the body. Right? Like he didn't kill the cop and then throw the body. He reached over and snapped the cop's neck, but as the one hand, like the momentum carried it forward, the body went with it into the other room. It was more of a byproduct of the force to break his neck.
Yeah, but the neck break happens, and then few seconds go by where the kids are in the other holding cell, like what's going on in there, and then the body comes flying in.
Oh yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I just thought that was maybe like you know how sometimes in edits, like it'll cut to someone else, but it's also edited back in time,
Yeah, I
like
get
3 seconds or whatever it is. So we're seeing their perspective at the incident we just saw.
Yeah,
That's how I took it. But it's possible he killed the cop and then maybe it was just to freak him out.
yeah, and the only reason I know that that's happened is so that they could get the keys and get out.
Yeah.
And I don't like. The creature did something that doesn't make a whole lot of sense just for them to be able to get this item to get out.
Like you would have preferred it more. He shoots the gun, it doesn't do anything. It starts to like assemble, and the cop grabbed his keys and started to run for the cell to like get the kids, and then it gets him and the keys like fly out of his hand, kind of a thing.
Something like
so
that.
at least then it's not the monster did something, like the
Yeah.
person, like the cop directly is trying to help them and then goes from there.
Yeah, something to that effect. But
Yeah.
I didn't care for the you throw this creature or throw this guy in the room just to get a scare, and also so the kids can get the keys.
Are we nitpicking again?
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
nitpicking a little bit.
So they get out though, and the jangly man gives chase, but that's, you referenced it earlier, that's when Ramon says, "This is my story. He's chasing me."
Yes.
And
When he gets in the stolen cop car, and I mean he steals a car.
oh man. Okay, yeah, but is it really stealing if the cop's dead and you're running for your life?
No, not at all.
It's borrowed.
It's borrowed.
That's borrowed.
Although he wrecks it.
That's self-preservation.
That is self-preservation, yeah. I'm kind of going to nitpick a little bit again.
Yes.
So the jangly man is hanging off the front of the car,
Yes.
and Ramon slams the car into a tractor trailer,
Yes.
hitting it against the car and the tractor trailer.
Right.
Gets out, takes off running. So the jangly man disassembles, falls down on the floor, on the ground, or whatever, and then reassembles.
Yeah.
If it was truly pinned, just taking your arms and your head and your legs off is not going to get your torso.
Well, it depends on how it was pinned. If he was pinned at like the stomach and chest, no. If the pinning was more hip level, where like the waist level, then that separation would do it. However, the torso does fall in between
Yeah.
the air quotes space between the car and the semi, which wouldn't. Although I guess it would kind of be there because the jangly man doesn't like, his body does not break unless he wants it to break. Like the car crash did no physical damage to the monster, right?
No, not at all.
But if that's the case, was he truly pinned? I don't know.
But again, I'm just being
Look,
super nitpicky.
I'm no big city monsterologist, all right? I don't know how the jangly man works.
And you call yourself an expert.
Nope. Although there was this guy I met in prison. We called him the Jangly Man, but it was very different.
I don't want to know what was in his prison wallet. No
Penis.
thanks. A lot of it.
Well, no, he was the Jangly Man because he was given it, but that's
Oh.
a separate issue.
Okay.
So Ramon is now in this cat and mouse against the Jangly Man, and Stella runs back to the house to stop Sarah. And thus begins the final tale. And Stella is, through the magic, is brought back into the house, back in time, to the late 1800s, as the Bellows family is in full force. But she, in this reality, air quote, in this story that's playing out, she is Sarah. And she is living, I believe, one of Sarah's memories. This isn't so much a story, even though we learned because Ramon sees it in the book. It's in like her story is being written, but I think Sarah is writing a memory with Stella as herself, or Stella as her, right? Because the family is like, goddamn, Sarah's escaped her room again. Find her. They've got their belts out. They're ready to do some fucking beating, right? And she's hiding, and they find her, and they lock her in the dungeon, and they turn the lights out. She's screaming, I'm not Sarah. I'm not Sarah. And so she lived a moment in Sarah's life. And then the rocking chair moves ever so slightly. And Stella just turns and she's like, bitch! No, she didn't act that way, but she should have. But she realizes she's not only is she in the dungeon as Sarah, she is also with Sarah. And with tears and fear, she being Stella, half reasons with, half accuses Sarah, and gets very, you're a victim. What happened to you should have never happened. But you are also a monster. You became a monster. You became the things that your family said about you. You became the things the townspeople said about you. You were the victim until you stopped being the victim. And she essentially reasons with Ghost Sarah and makes a promise. Let go of your rage, let go of your hate, stop writing stories, just move on to the afterlife, just fucking leave, just be done, and I will tell the truth of your story. I will get the truth of Sarah Bellows and what happened out there. Because we learned throughout the movie, she didn't poison those kids. Her family's paper mill was dumping mercury into the water. And they were killing the kids. And she was going to go public with that information. Which is, along with her albinoism, why they kept her locked up and treated her the way they did. They even had her committed to a psychiatric institution where one of the doctors is her brother Ephraim, who talks a lot like Hannibal Lecter.
I didn't catch that, I guess.
On the wax cylinder they play.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I was
Um,
thinking of during the flashback. But anyway.
well, that wasn't a pivotal moment. We had already moved past it. I was just, because she was going to, so they're like, no, she's this crazy shut-in monster witch and killed kids. And, they basically had her tried and committed. So then her brother, the doctor, could then guarantee her silence, basically. So the truth of the family would never come out. And so Sarah, with a mighty rage scream, lets go and moves on. And the Jangly Man falls apart and disappears. And Ramon is safe. And Stella is released from her magic prison and leaves the dungeon. And her and Ramon reunite. And the nightmare is over. Huzzah!
One of the parts that made me kind of chuckle a little bit during this whole part where Sarah is Stella, or
Mhm.
Stella is Sarah, rather. Stella loses her glasses,
Yes.
and they break. At the end, Ramon finds them
Mm-hmm.
and puts them on her face. Doesn't bother cleaning them off.
No, because because the magic sent Stella back in time to like 1897, and this movie takes place in 1969. So they've been there a hot minute.
Yeah, they're all covered in dust and everything, and she can't see shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was like, dude, at least clean them off.
Just wipe them off, man.
Damn, blow them off something. Who cares? That's it. Done. Yeah. But that made me kind of chuckle a little bit.
And then, so yeah, explain this ending to me, because maybe I was talking to Anna and I just didn't.
Well, at the end, Ramon takes off, joins the army, military, whatever branch.
Yeah, he stops dodging the draft. He gets hit full force by the draft.
Yeah.
And he goes off to Wa.
So,
But what is it good for?
nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
Absolutely.
Nothing.
You know what? Can I just say I hate that joke? So just collectively, me, you, us. You know what?
Boo these men.
Boo this show.
So Stella is in the truck with her father, Roy, I think his name was, and they're driving along, and the voiceover is saying, I believe Augie and Chuck are still alive, and with this book, we'll find out, and we'll do it together. And the camera pans back, and Ruth is in the back seat with a big old giant scar on her face.
Yeah, I must have missed that. But again, I thought her mind was shattered. So how did she just get over it?
Yeah, just sucked it up. Suck it up.
Spiders erupted from my face one time.
Yep, get over
Who
it.
hasn't been there?
Everybody.
Everyone hasn't been there?
Everybody's been there.
Everybody been there.
Just get over it, girl. Damn.
Walk, rub some dirt on it.
Yeah, spit on it.
All right. Final thoughts. Wait, have we covered everything? I feel like we
I think
covered
we have,
everything.
yes.
All right, final thoughts.
I like the teen aspect of this with just a collection of kids.
You mean the clan of investigative teens?
Yes. I love the
Call it what
clan
it is.
of investigative teens. And I like the time period that it's set in. I don't know why. There's just something about
Look at Nixon.
the 60s, 70s being portrayed in movies that I really enjoy. It was just kind of a simpler time. You know, because in horror movies, when they're set in modern time, they always have to figure out a way to take the cell phones out of the equation.
It's I don't have any signal.
Yeah, it's always that. Or my battery is about to die. Ugh, okay. But this, you don't even have to worry about
Yeah, that does
it.
help. Wait, does this mean that essentially all horror movies need to be a period piece of some sort?
Not particularly, no. Unless you want to use the cell phone in a way to further the story. But as a whole, I think most of them should be, because they're not all going to have the technological aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Or we have to sit through every movie having there's no service here.
yeah, exactly. Or I forgot my cell phone in the car. Blech.
No, you didn't. Shut up.
Now, this movie, I like this. This surprised me. Like I said before, I was kind of anticipating it just being a bunch of short stories thrown together. But the way they made it into a longer story overall, with all the little short stories making sense,
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot. The actors are really good. The characters are well written. I liked majority of the characters. I cared about a majority of the characters. Ruth, not so much. Her little story, I didn't really care for that one that well. But yeah, this is worth the ticket price. I would highly recommend this one. Especially for that younger crowd, 10, 11, 12. Introduce them into the horror world.
Horror.
Yeah. It's good. It's a good watch.
So I had never seen this before. And I had never really read the books before. I don't need to get into that again. because the art freaked me out, man. It freaked me out. I didn't like it. It was too like visceral and otherworldly. I didn't like it. Why did the farm become a giant ghoul head? I don't understand.
Because that's cool.
It's not cool.
Yes,
It's
it is.
weird. It's gross. I don't talk about it. It freaks me out. So I've never seen this movie before. The child, the younger actors. We say child actors. That seems weird though. They're teenagers. These teenage actors can be real hit or miss. This group worked for me. This movie was very well cast. Everyone had a great grasp of their characters. They're written well. They're portrayed well. There's no real fault to be had in how the movie's performed. It's well written, or at least I mean we've been talking about nitpicks and whatever, but when you really think about what they did, and they took a disjointed collection of different short stories and found a way to link them into the same narrative umbrella, but still be able to highlight them as their own individual short stories, to pay that homage and to tell the story like the books do, I thought was very clever. And as a writer, I really enjoyed how they did that. I thought that was pretty slick, and it was very unique, because this could have so easily been a creep show or a Tales from the Crypt, and not necessarily saying that's a bad thing, but for this film, this overall story, it just worked. This overall narrative worked well, I thought, and I enjoyed it. And going into it, it is fun. It's a fun watch. You get that, like, those kind of goosebumpy scares, but not overly so. If you're a little bitch baby like me, and you're not profusely sweating and shaking and screaming the whole time, as I may or may not tend to do. I could handle this, right? It was horror junior. It was horror light, right? And I could handle it.
Horror Junior. I
Yeah.
like that.
I could handle this. And I was like, oh yeah, it's because it is fun to get scared in the right way.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
And I thought this did that well. This was like that right level of like, ooh, this is creepy or surreal or scary, but like not so much so it's off. But like this, it's fun. It's that fun level. And if you are a horror fan and you have kids that are appropriately aged 10, 11, 12, 13, and you want to introduce them into this world, this seems like a good place to start to me. It's creepy, it's scary, it's otherworldly, but it's not, you know what I appreciated about it? There's no gore, there's no sex or nudity, there's no egregious violence, there's no I guess what we would consider staples now of the horror genre. And it doesn't have that.
Yeah, there's no like real even cuss words.
Yeah, there's no language. Like, you could watch this again with like I have toddlers at home. We're not watching this movie anytime soon, right? But if your kids are appropriately aged, even if you are more on the sheltering side of things, especially when it comes to sex, nudity, language, violence, there's really none to be found here, but you can still get the scare. You can still get the horror without crossing any of those boundaries, I feel like. And there's something to appreciate with that. That even those details are taken into consideration. It's a scary movie meant for the younger audiences without being hokey.
That's very appropriate. Yes.
And so it's very well done. So I will definitely say that this movie is worth the ticket price. I did enjoy it. And for what it is and the audiences it's meant for, is very good. Genuinely, it's very good. And it's definitely worth the ticket price. And just a great way, again, if especially if you're like Tevis and you're real into horror and you want to share that enjoyment and that love of this world with your kids, but kiddie into the pool, right?
Oh, absolutely.
You're not just gonna grab them and be like, learn to swim,
Yeah.
right? Because that's how you get psychological scarring and nightmares, and we don't want that for anybody.
No, not at all.
No, so you start in the kiddie into the pool, and this is, I think, that perfect step
I agree.
into that. So, yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that a lot.
Look at that. I mean, we definitely needed this run of two
Hey,
excellent movies
just a couple of steps in the right direction.
after that fucking turd burger of a Black Adam that we had to sit through.
Oh, God.
What was before Black Adam? I don't even remember.
Well,
That one.
hold on. Well, technically, there was original episode 33, then Black Adam before that. Oh no, really, we only had a run of 2 bad movies, because before Black Adam was Captain Underpants,
Oh, okay.
and we loved Captain Underpants,
Yeah.
and before that was Killer that we also, there was Killer and Godzilla and
Okay.
Clue.
Man, those.
No, Clue was in
Clue.
there.
Yeah, okay. There it
Clue
was.
sucks.
There it is.
Yeah, Clue I got listed as 29. Underpants is 31. Was that so? Godzilla was 30. No? Yes. No. Somewhere in there. It went either Clue Godzilla or Godzilla Clue.
But yeah, Black Adam and then that other shit.
Just
Bruh.
the first movie so just boring that we cannot air the episode.
We literally burned an episode.
All right. Well, speaking of burning episodes, let's burn this one up.
Okay.
Let's be done with it. With our hat.
Let's get the hat.
Where's the hat? All right. I
All
think
right.
it's your turn.
It is my turn.
He's rummaging. He's rummaging.
Okay.
He's ruminating.
I'm ruminating. God, that was such a phenomenal movie. I hope this one's as good.
That's to be as good as Ford versus Ferrari. That's going to be tough. That is not an easy task.
Am I on goddamn far?
Am I on goddamn far? Far.
Okay. Oh.
Oh.
Well, we may have a winner.
Ooh, wait. Better than Ford versus Ferrari?
Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly. We are kind of dipping our toes back into the horror aspect a little bit.
Okay.
A little bit of Steven Spielberg. A little bit of Bruce.
Oh, wait a minute.
Big old fish.
Wait, we're doing Big Fish with Ewan McGregor?
No.
Oh.
We are doing Jaws.
Ooh. It's been a hot minute since I've seen Jaws. Oh, man. Is this show going to make me hate Jaws? I love Jaws. I don't want to hate Jaws.
You mean, no, you loved Jaws.
I am about to not love anything. Oh, man. If this show makes me hate Jaws, I'm going to have a problem.
We shall see.
Ooh. Diving into another classic.
Yes.
Or what is widely considered. No, I think universally considered a classic.
Absolutely.
I think widely is too small a term.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I'm Jake. That's Tevis. We're Ticket Price. Another winner.
Another winner.
Tune in next week as we look at Jaws. And we're going to get drunk. And we're going to sing sailor songs. Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu to you ladies of Spain.